Good day, everyone. My name is Humphrey from Monash University, and I'm going to talk about our ICSI SIS paper titled A First Look at Human Values Violation in App Reviews. We're going to talk about a brief background on the work, our methodology, and also the results that we got from our analysis. Ubiquitous technologies have a tremendous influence on the evolution of the socio-cultural aspect of the different facets of life in society, and their effects on society cannot be ignored. Smartphones, for example, and the accompanying mobile apps that we use are a very good example of ubiquitous technologies. We use our apps to do many things, from entertainment, watching YouTube, to transportation, for example, using Google Maps. Given the ubiquity of mobile apps in everyday life, we ought to understand the relationship between human values and development and deployment of mobile apps. And now also, mobile apps in turn embody human values. It is a common knowledge that there are various stakeholders involved in development of software systems. All of the stakeholders have different values considerations that need to be acknowledged. However, if we don't properly acknowledge and document all of these different values from stakeholders, we'll end up violating the values of one or more stakeholders. Also, there are consequences for values violation. We all are aware of the Facebook Cambridge Analytica saga a few years ago. It's one of the issues and consequences that result from the violation of human values in software systems. One of the guidelines, the Asiloma principle, states that AI systems should be designed and operated so as to be compatible with ideas of human dignity, rights, freedom, and cultural diversity. And we want to go beyond this. We want to go beyond AI systems and also want to apply this generally to technology and also to software systems in general. What's the definition? What's the formal description of human values? Cheng and others in 2010 defined human values as the guiding principles of what people consider important in life. Concepts like achievement, power, tradition, benevolence, security, autonomy, freedom, all of these are good examples of human values. Human values determine human behavior and attitude, and they also serve as guides for actions and also as a vehicle for expressing need. Consider the following example. Consider this mobile app that's developed to provide paid parking services to institutions such as city councils or universities and parks. Users sign up to the app for a more convenient method of parking instead of the use of maybe the traditional pay machine. Unfortunately, while well-intentioned, this particular app may violate the values of its different users. These are real user reviews of that parking application. For example, there's a concern on privacy. A user says, "There's no one giving your app my location or access to my photos." And then also the perceived violation of honesty, when the user found it difficult to cancel their subscription. So this is an example of human values violation or perceived violation from the end user. The aim or the goal of our work is to help developers, not just developers, all of different stakeholders to understand and identify end users values violation, and also to help them fix and avoid these kind of issues in the future. And to that end, we came up with three research questions. The first one is, what are the most common human values violations perceived by app users as expressed in their mobile app reviews? The second question is, which reviews indicate human values violations by a mobile app that are most supported by other end users? And the third question is whether or not specific app features are related to specific human values violation. For our methodology, we turn to the trust theory of basic human values This theory of basic human values categorizes 58 human values into 10 categories. And this is based on the survey that was carried out in several countries, and it covers different factors, including age, cultural practices, and gender. Furthermore, the trust theory of basic human values have gained wide acceptance in other disciplines beyond social sciences, and we've even seen adoption of it within software engineering and computer science. So these are some of the reasons we chose to go with the Schwartz theory of basic human values. Now we turn to our approach. First, we collected data, collected approximately 22,000 app reviews from 12 apps from the Google Play Store. And the apps that we chose it to cover a wide range of audiences and age groups with different expectations and interactions with technology. We did pre-processing. We carry out steps like correcting misspelled words, we removed stop words, did stemming. And then at the next step, we created a values dictionary. And our values dictionary is based on the trust theory of basic human values. This dictionary consisted of values terminology and the associated synonyms and antonyms. And to make the dictionary thorough and comprehensive, we use entries from an online thesaurus and Merriam-Webster dictionary. And also to address coherency issues, we included own entries that are semantically and contextually related to the values terms. And then we created an oracle, a truth set. The truth set was done by 2 researchers with extensive experience in value-based software engineering. We labeled 709 reviews. All the researchers, they did a pilot round each, and then they discussed their disagreements. And then after resolving the disagreement, they went ahead to label the rest of the data. We also collected app features from the app description on the Play Store. The next step involved a combination of a probabilistic approach and sentiment analysis to check whether or not there's a values violation in the particular corpus of text. And we found that our approach was relatively good because it's a statistical approach. We had a recall of 3%, a precision of 69%, and an F measure of 75%. Trust to validity includes the definition of the truth sets because it was done by people. Even though their experience, there's also the issue of subjectivity in the definition of the truth sets. So we'll also have a threat to internal validity because our F measure is 75%. So there are room for errors in our results. And then finally, we selected 12 apps out of the millions of apps that are available from the Google Play Store. What we tried to do, although, was to get apps that are representative of different background and different age groups. The results. So the result of our first research question, what are the most common human violation perceived by app users as expressed in the mobile app reviews? We found that benevolence, self-direction, and hedonism were the most violated values category, as shown in the app reviews. Second research questions, which says that which reviews indicating human values violation by mobile app are the most supported by other end users. So here we made the assumption that the more likes there are to a review, they had a consensus about the issue captured in that review by other users. By extension, it is probable that if such a review contains a valid violation, the other users who supported that review might agree with the value concentration captured in that review. So self-direction, benevolence, hedonism also came up as the most supported human values violation by the end users. We also wanted to know if there are app features that are related to specific human values violations, and indeed there were. For instance, the value of pleasure was violated in the Pick Arts app, and it's related to the art stickers feature. Now that we've seen that we've seen that there's a potential for human values violation or perceived human values violation in apps.
Good morning. I'm Alexander Serebrennik from Eindhoven University of Technology, and it's my pleasure to chair this session on social equality and fairness number 2. Thank you for watching the video of our first talk. Unfortunately, the primary author of this paper could not attend the conference, even though it's virtual. So he's not here to answer your questions. I would like to encourage you to pose your questions in the discussion room of this paper. And we are going to have roughly 4 more minutes before the next video is scheduled to play. So you can obviously enjoy your coffee, and see you in several minutes after the discussion for the Q&A session of the second video.